What's good, YouTube? How's everyone doing this lovely Thursday, lovely day? It's your boy Reg in the building. Got my homeboy Try with me.
What up?
Um, due to y'all viewers' choice request, we're going to talk about Alice in Chains' second studio album, Dirt. This came out in 1992 on Columbia Records. This incarceration of Alice in Chains consists of Lane Stately on vocals and rhythm guitar, Jerry Cantrell on guitar, Mike Starr on bass, Sean Kinney on drums. Singles albums known for are Wood, Wooster, Them Bones, Angry Chair, and Down in the Hole, and no guest appearances on this album. Alright, so are you by any chance a fan of Alice in Chains or
No, I mean I know of them, and but I'm not. I never heard a album from them until now. So
Mhm.
yeah.
I feel you on that. Yeah, man. I personally got into Alice in Chains.
Hmm.
I remember like hearing that one song, Man in the Box, and stuff like that. And this is when I was not really into rock music like that until like years after I heard this track. But
Right.
what really made me a fan of this album and group was the song Wood off, of course, this album and stuff like
Right.
that too. And it was just a heavy song. I've heard like a lot of people compare them to Led Zeppelin. Like they will say like they were like the Led Zeppelin of grunge music, which I don't know if I would really go that far, but you can just hear the Led Zeppelin influence, like how
Hmm.
heavy their sound was at that time too. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
yeah. Personally, these guys and Nirvana, I always go back and forth on my favorite grunge group.
Hmm.
But yeah, Alice in Chains, man. For those who don't know, they were a rock group from Seattle, Washington. They formed in 1987. Pretty much like Lane Stately and Jerry Cantrell met in a party in Seattle and whatnot. And Stately, he had a group called Alice and Chains, but it's spelled like not Alice and James. It's pretty much Alice and the letter N and Chains. And pretty much, he was impressed by his voice. And at that time, Jerry Cantrell was like homeless because he got kicked out of his family house and shit. So they both bonded and whatnot. So next thing his version of Alice in Chains disbanded, and Lane Stickley formed a funk group and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So they started calling themselves like Diamond Live, and that's when Randy Hawser, the promoter, became like aware of who the band were due to like demo tapes and stuff like that, and so he got them a deal with Columbia Records. And so, in 1989, so between 1989 to 1990, they were working on the Facelift album, which was like their first album. But they came out with an EP called We Die Young,
Right.
which that was like the first like really release. A lot of people thought that on Facelift was just their first thing, but no, they just came out with this first. But Facelift came out after. This came out in 1990, 1 year before Nirvana's Nevermind album and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
pretty much, Alice in Chains, Alice in Chains was pretty much like one of the first cats to really bring that grunge sound and stuff. Because like Nirvana, when it came to like the Bleach album, it wasn't really grunge, at that time and stuff like that. They were just pretty much on the alternative metal, alternative rock, influenced by like the Pixies and stuff like that too. So
Right.
yeah, man. So Facelift, that was a dope album that really broke the ground for the alternative rock audience. I got certified gold, and so around this time too, they were touring. They appeared on like the Clash of Titans tours with like Anthrax, Megadeth,
Hmm.
and Slayer. They were also nominated for best hard rock performance for Man in the Box. Around this time too, they were working on their next EP called Sap. And yeah, this is around the time that was supposed to come out like around 91. Um, actually it came out in '92. Excuse me. This was around the time when Nirvana was really killing it on the charts and stuff like that. So yeah, and so next thing you know, that's when they return to the studio. While they're on the road, and they pretty much like want like a darker feel. Compared to like Facelift. Like Facelift was already dark as it
Hmm.
is, but to me with Dirt, they made like really more personal with it. If you ask me, just more in depth, like talking about their addiction and whatnot. 'Cause, around that time too, Lane Stately had checked out of rehab and stuff like that, and 'cause, he was using heroin at that time too.
Right.
And so he had went cold turkey. So yeah, man. This album to me is like one of the most. I feel like this album and the self-titled album that they came out with in '95 were like the darkest album that they came out with and stuff. So
Hmm.
love the album cover. You know, just as like it just to me what this album cover kind of reminds me of is like going through addiction and you just kind of like feel dead. Like that's why like the whole body is just all half faded and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Um, yeah, man, pretty dope album cover. The girl, all the desert, and so and Lane Stately, he actually talked about the album cover and stuff like that too. Like he was saying how he pretty much wants somebody to like bury his ass. At that time he just really felt like shit. You know what I'm saying? And what was really interesting was that he didn't really like the album cover at first because it just looked like the girls being sucked to the dirt and stuff like that too. So yeah, man. You know how people are and shit. And the crazy irony when it comes to this album was the fact that well, as y'all should know, Lane Stately, he passed away. And Alice in Chains were pretty much broken up at that time too. But then when they got back together, with the new lead singer, they dropped their comeback album 17 years after this album came out, literally 17 years after. So
Hmm.
that's interesting as hell. Um,
You just opening it now?
oh no, it's already open.
Oh, it's already open.
Yeah, it's already open. But yeah, this is the album cover and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah. Um, yeah, man. I think I got this in Barnes and Noble. I want to say one store I got it from. I can't remember where. Like, I love that album. And I love the packaging.
Right.
I mean, yeah, man. I know a thing or two about grunge music and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, 13 tracks. Let's get this shit started. So track number one, Them Bones. Nice way to start the album off and stuff like that. Very heavy, very dark. Pretty much, it's like talking about the afterlife
Hmm.
and how life will be like in the afterlife and stuff like that. Love the video to this track too. It looked like they were performing like some dome or some shit like that.
Right.
Yeah, very dope track.
Yeah, it was dope. Definitely a nice little track to start off the album. I like the good it's a real short track. I like the guitars and it was dope.
Yeah, man, very good song. Track number two, Damn That River. Interesting track. So a lot of people said that this has like two interpretations, but I'm gonna definitely go with the most famous one. And I believe this one more because Jerry Cantrell actually confirmed the story. Whereas him and Sean Kinney, who I believe was like the drum player, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check so I won't get that shit wrong. Yeah, drum player, yes, okay. So they got into like a fight or some shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Like a food fight, and Sean apparently broke the table over Jerry Cantrell's head. Yeah. And Jerry, he wrote this as like payback and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
yeah, man, I saw rock groups, I swear to God. Um this was a pretty dope song. I love the vocal. Like whenever Lane and Jerry
Hmm.
like harmonize with one another, always something special and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Definitely reminds me of how Robert Plant and Jimmy Page used to do that shit. Like I always felt like they were very influenced by Led Zeppelin a little
Mm,
bit with this album. Like it
right,
definitely has some elements of Zeppelin mixed in with Metallica. Because I've always felt like Alice in Chains, like when it comes to like the big four grunge groups like Nirvana, Pearl Jam, of course Alice and Soundgarden. You know,
right,
I don't really consider Soundgarden a grunge group. That's another story for a
right.
different day. They were more heavier, whereas like Nirvana, Pearl Jam, and even Soundgarden had like more of like a melodic, heavy kind of sound that makes sense.
Right.
But yeah, man. But it is like another interpretation, whereas people want to say that it was inspired by like this Green River Killer and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But a lot of people focus more on like the fight more and stuff. So yeah, this was a very, very, very dope track. You know, Lane Staley definitely did his thing on this. So yeah,
So he wrote this song against the guy. That's what you're saying?
yeah.
Wow. Damn. Why you named it Damn That River though?
Oh man, you know, why did
That
he
shit sound like a WWE.
right
You broke the table with.
broke a fucking table on his head?
Oh man. If only that shit happens in rap. You
Man,
know.
that should happen to rap. That would be hilarious. That
That
should be
shit sound
awesome.
like so some like WrestleMania match or something, you know? What the hell? Oh
Why?
my god, that's funny. I thought the song was good. I like the real hard guitars in it, and man, I didn't know it was named after the dude in the group. That's something, and they still able to put it on the album. Like, how did that turn out? Like, oh, I wrote this about you, and it's still in the on the, goes on the album. So
It'd
you
be
would think a song like this would be like on the cutting room floor, but that's weird. That's crazy.
it'd be like that.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Now we're gonna get into Rain When I Die. Um, again, another very cool track. Not one of my favorites compared to like the previous tracks, but yeah, Rain When I Die was a pretty solid track. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's self-explanatory. By the way, I did
Yeah.
love the guitar riff on the previous song too.
Yeah, I like the guitars on this, and it wasn't as hard as the first two tracks. It was like real kind of like real softer to listen to. If that make any sense, and I like the beat on it. It was dope.
Yeah, I definitely feel you on that. Track number four, Down in the Hole. Um, this was pretty much like a love song Jerry Control did, dedicated to his girlfriend. I think at the time her name was Courtney Clark. Yeah, very very cool song. You know what I'm saying? You know, very cool song. Nice little love song. I feel like Lane Staley definitely did his thing, singing that. You know,
Right.
conveying Jerry's emotions on that one. So I like it.
Yeah, I like this one too. It's one of my favorites on here with "Rain When I Die." This was a dope song, and again, I love those guitars in it. Really, accentuate the track and the drums, and I like the bass line on it. Definitely a solid track.
Yeah, very 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 solid track. Um, then we're gonna get into Sick Man. Yo, this is like one of my all-time favorite tracks off this album, man. Again, another one of those tracks where they're talking about the drug abuse and just like mental illness
Right.
and stuff like that. Yeah, man. Like, I personally, I felt like this is one of the my top five favorite tracks off this album. You know,
Yeah, this is dope. This is it wasn't one of my favorites, but it was a cool track. It was dope.
yeah, man. And funny story about this song too. Pretty much, this song was just so fucking heavy that Lane Stately asked Jerry Cantrell to write something like so heavy, like write like the most darkest, disgusting thing ever, and that's why the song sounded like that.
Right.
Like yeah, pretty much yeah. This was like pretty much like them like conveying the negative, like deep down in negative feelings and shit. So
Right.
I like it.
Dope.
Track number six, Rooster. Yeah, this is maybe my second or third favorite track off this album. This was written from the perspective of like Jerry Cantrell's grandfather because um, he served in the Vietnam War and things of that nature. And this was like pretty much talking about how his nickname was Rooster, hence the title and stuff. And so it's just pretty much talking about what he was seeing during like the Vietnam War and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Love some of these lyrics. This is a very very heavy song, very relevant today to this day.
Right.
I love the lyric where it says, "Walking tall machine gunmen, they spit on me in my homeland. Gloria sent me pictures of my boy, got my pills against mosquito death." And that's like a very, very, very true line, shit like that. Because when it came to like the Vietnam War, you know, when they came back to America and stuff like that, people were already saying how they were like baby killers, they were like monsters and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I just always felt like this track right here was definitely very, very relevant. Stood the test of time, and the video actually sparked some controversy too,
Hmm.
because since it was like a based off the wartime, they were showing like violence depictions of like the veterans and people like that. But they got like a lot of complaints from like real life veterans. They got complaints because it was too violent. And mind you, this was when MTV actually showed music videos.
Right.
They didn't show always reality TV, and for the most part, they would show like music videos practically all day if they had to.
Right.
And certain videos, if it was too heavy during like the dinner time, evening hour, people was complaining about it, and they would save those videos to like late at night and stuff. Um, and so they actually had to ban that video from MTV.
Wow.
And Jerry Cantrell, he actually said, "Well, it's funny how MTV always shows gangster rap and stuff like that. People killing one another." And I hear Jerry Control's point, but you gotta also remember too, gangster rap video will also getting banned in MTV too. You gotta
Hmm.
also remember that shit too. Like
Right. NWA.
NWA,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, Onyx Throw Your Guns in the Air, that was banned off MTV.
Yeah.
Even though that wasn't like a gangster rap song, it was still hardcore.
They banned the image of Sticky Fingers with the Uzi or whatever, the semi-automatic, whatever he had in his hand in that video.
Right. Hell, not gangster rap either, but Brand Nubians.
Right.
The Wake Up video where they had the dude with the fucking white face or whatever,
Right.
or yeah,
Yeah.
they banned that. And Fat Five Freddy was pissed.
Yep. It's
And
crazy.
mind you, Fat Five Freddy was the host of Yo TV Raps at that
Right.
time, one of the highest rated shows.
Yep.
So yeah, man, like, and it's just like I don't know, man. Like I said, I hear what you're saying, but gangster rap, even like hip hop, certain hip hop always get banned and stuff. Hell, Outkast's Bombs Over Baghdad got banned in BET at one
Right.
point.
Yep.
They had to show that video late at night.
Crazy.
So yeah, that's one thing I'd say about Roots. A very dope track.
Yeah, I thought it was dope, and I like the verse where he's singing "Walking Tall Machine Gun Man." They spit on me in my homeland. Gloria sent me pictures of my boy. Got my pills against mosquito death. My buddy's breathing his dying breath. God, please won't you help me make it through? So that's like this is like a song for like you could tell it's like a song for soldiers or something like that, you know. And I thought it was a great song.
Yeah, very, very, very good song. Like one of my all-time favorite tracks off this album. Track number seven, Junkhead. Self-explanatory. Just talking about that. You said you laughing at me.
No, no.
Uh,
Look at something.
but yeah, self-explanatory. Both Jerry and Lane wrote this just expressing their thoughts about drug abuse and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? How addiction always brings out the worst in people. So yeah, very, very, very dope track.
Yeah, I like with when he says a good night, the best in a long time. A new friend turned me on to an old favorite. Nothing better than a dealer who's high. Be high, convince them to buy. Yeah. So yeah, this is a very serious song about drugs and it's real deep.
Yeah, man, very, very deep track. And shit. Then we're gonna get into track number eight, Dirt. Yeah, this was another pretty solid track. Pretty dark track, but like not really one of my favorites, if I would say. But it was pretty
Right,
good.
right. Yeah, it was again, it's another deep song about like suicide and murder and drug addiction and you know, um, the verse he's saying, I want to taste dirty, a stinging pistol in my mouth on my tongue. I want you to scrape me from the walls and go crazy like you've made me. So that definitely some hardcore shit over on this track. You know,
Yeah, definitely. Um, Track number nine, Godsmack. Again, this was a very cool song. Just talking about again drug addiction. But yeah,
yeah.
it's alright.
I love the drums on that track on Godsmack. Definitely enjoy that track and the guitars and you know it's supposed to be like a term for like a heroin overdose or something.
Yeah,
It's crazy. So this whole group is like that's all they're singing about is like drugs and stuff.
like drugs, depression.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much like a lot of big grunge bands around that time. They sung about drugs.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. It weren't really. They were talking about drugs, depression. Their feelings and shit like
Right.
that.
Crazy.
Like Ray, when people like Ray, Red Hot Chili Peppers. They were
Right.
taking this shit to another level and giving alternate music.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, man. That's one thing about them. And then they have a little short track called Iron Gland.
Right. Yeah, it was alright.
Yeah, nothing me too. I didn't write
Yeah.
anything for it. Track number 11, Hate to Feel. Um, Hate to Feel. This was one of my favorite tracks, maybe my second favorite track off this album. And this is one of the few tracks where Lane Staley definitely played the guitar other than Jerry Cantrell, and he definitely did his thing on this. It definitely has like a Led Zeppelin feel to it, in my
Mhm.
opinion. Like early Zeppelin and shit, how bluesy it was. Yeah, I definitely like this track. Very dope track.
Yeah, this was dope. I like the verse he says. He's singing, "What the fuck will it take? Drown myself in my wake. Another shaggy DA. Now a dog. Shake my leg. Plastic man. Paper face. Candy heart. What a waste. Got a change. Set a date. Eat my cake. Ate my cake. Lick my plate." So yeah, it was definitely like a real intense track, and I like the chorus for it, and yeah, it was dope.
Yeah, very good track. Track number 12, Angry Chair. This song is pretty much based off, how Lane Staley's dad used to send him to like the timeout chair when he would get in trouble and stuff like that. Just pretty much one of those personal tracks. Loved this track in my
Yeah.
opinion. Loved how raw and emotion vulnerable Lane Staley sounded on this track.
Hmm.
Definitely very dope track. Love it.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites too. When he's singing sitting on an angry chair, angry walls that steal the air, stomach hurts and I don't care. What do I see across the way? Hey, see myself molded in clay. Oh, stares at me. Yeah, I'm afraid. Hey, changing the shape of his face. Oh yeah, there's definitely one of my favorite tracks on here. And the drums was hitting, and yeah, I like this joint.
Yeah, I love this track indeed. And the last track off this album is Wood. My favorite track off this album, believe it or not, this was also on the singles soundtrack, which that soundtrack was like one of the also breakthroughs when it comes to grunge music and alternative rock music because
Right.
everybody who was popular at that time was on that soundtrack, like Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Smashing Pumpkins, so on and so on. This track right here was dedicated to the lead singer from Mother Love Bone, Andrew Wood. He had died from like a heroin overdose 2 years before this album was released and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I love this track, and I love everything about how it started and just the guitar, and, the feedback and everything like that. I love the line in the beginning when he says, "Know me, broken by my master." Teach Thee, On Child of Love Hereafter. And then that's Jerry on the verse. And then Lane Stately just comes out in the chorus with that Into the Flood Again. Same old trip it was back then. So I made a big mistake. Try to see it once my way. Like, definitely a very heavy track and stuff, you know what I'm saying? And one thing I got from that track is like he's speaking from Andrew's perspective of how he had relapsed, but I feel like he was also speaking from himself too.
Right.
Um, cause yeah, like rest in peace to him because you know he passed away from like a heroin overdose and stuff like that too. So yeah, man, I just always felt like he was speaking from himself when he did that chorus. So yeah, definitely a very very iconic song when it comes to grunge music. Yeah, one of my all-time favorite songs they've done. Period.
Yeah, this was a dope song. I definitely like the drums on this, and the guitars on this was dope, and a great solid track, a great way to end the album off.
Yeah, very good way to end off the album. This is a classic album in my opinion. One of my all-time favorite grunge albums, maybe top four.
Right.
Like this was just dark and heavy. You know, this was them. You know, creatively at their peak, in my opinion, and you know, just them. You know, delving deep in like their drug addictions and stuff like that, and making an album
Mm.
like this. I mean, this is really like one of the albums that pretty much broke the mold down for like grunge music, in my opinion.
Mm.
Um, yeah, man, very very dope album. I would give this like five mics, in my opinion. So, yeah,
Definitely a solid album, and I didn't hear none of this stuff until now, but I definitely love like a lot of songs in here, like "Rain When I Die" and "Rooster," "Down in the Hole," "Godsmack." I love those drums and the guitars on that one, and "Angry Chair," "Wood." Great way to end the album. Definitely a solid album. I got to hear more of their stuff, but I definitely enjoyed this album.
yeah, I would definitely recommend you checking
Mm.
out the first album, Facelift, too,
Okay.
and stuff like that. The things that they've done with Lane Stately, they've done like three albums and like a couple of EPs.
Right.
And Lane Stately had like a side project in '94 too.
Right.
And you know, pretty much they had an unplugged episode where the unplugged episode was very dope. You know,
Hmm.
even though that was like Lane Stately's like final televised appearance and stuff like that, because he died
Right.
6 years, 5 or 6 years after that.
Oh wow.
Because he had like he had like relapsed and he was going through like a lot of shit.
Right.
And so Alice and Chains pretty much broke up, and then they got back together like in '07, and then 2 years after that, that's when they came out with that new album like '09.
Hmm.
I've heard many people say it was good. I
Hmm.
still, I know they're still going strong, which I thank God for that. But to me, Lane was the guy that really made the group. He was like the charismatic guy that made the group, in my opinion. But one day I'll listen to those albums and shit, you know.
Right.
But overall, I'm gonna end this off for the night because I gotta get some rest for this gig tomorrow
All
and
right.
work tomorrow, and I got to take my vaccinations tomorrow, so I gotta get some
Yes. Good
rest. So
luck with that.
thank you.
Yeah, man.
This is Alice in Chains, Dirt, 1992. This album should still be in print, you know what I'm saying? So y'all can
Right.
get this album. It should not be too expensive.
All
All
right.
right, so thank y'all so much for watching. Hope everyone has a good night, and make sure you subscribe. Peace.
Peace.